Yo, still bills, what's the deal, man? Yo, I worked a fucking 14-hour shift yesterday, my nigga. After working a 12 on Tuesday. And I just, my lord, man, I'm beat. I'm ready to get this day over with and go the fuck home. But, yeah, man, that's how I'm feeling about it, man. Yo, and man, Mike Mania continues, man. I went out, I've been going through all this. I went back through history, and I went back through Invincible. I went back through goddamn the Bad album as well. And allegedly, Ebro said some shit like, I don't know how I took it, man. Thriller is the McDonald's of all albums. I'm like, yo, what that even mean? I don't know if he's saying because McDonald's is the biggest fast food chain and out there, or if it's just I just if it was just it's big, but a lot of it is hype and it's bad for you. I don't know how I don't know how I took it, man. I thought that was a real weird comparison, man. So I'm kind of like tweaking off that. Thriller isn't my favorite album from Mike anyway. Off the Wall is just and Thriller was a phenomenal album. All of his albums were phenomenal albums, man. But Off the Wall was just different to me, man. Off the Wall was just like, oh my god, dude. So it's still Mike Mania, and if possible, we gonna go see that movie again on Sunday because tomorrow's the big fight day. So talking about big fight days, let's get into this. So Pete Gang, we gotta talk about Junto and Naoya Inoue. Man, I'm gonna be real, Brody. I think this is how these two getting in the ring and bossing up with each other. And just the amount of time they took it to get done. Junto had one fight at 122, and now he's just dumped it right into the crock pool to fight, Naoya Inoue off. And he didn't look spectacular in that last fight. He didn't look spectacular. He didn't look as dominant. But I mean, you got to consider, all right, he's jumping up in weight. A lot of people were feeling, I don't know why people have such an issue with struggling. People don't respect weight classes, and they expect you to just be able to transcend weight classes and look as dominant as you did in that next weight class as you did in the previous weight class. That's not always how it goes. Every fighter ain't created equal. I can guarantee you this. I think Junto Nakatani is going to be properly prepared for this fight. He's going to be properly prepared for this fight. His his level of focus is going to be, I know this is the best training camp he's ever had in his life. How do I know? Because he's fighting a legitimate all-time great fighter, Naoya Inoue. So he made sure he made the proper, preparations going into this fight. So we should get a potential fight of the year, and if a potential knockout of the year. This is going to be a bang fest. It's going to be a bang fest. And they didn't have to go through all the antics and everything to bring some sort of publicity and attraction to this fight. Motherfuckers just want to see it because these dudes is rock stars in Japan. So they like, man, we don't need to go through all the dumb shit and the antics to get this shit over the line and have some, attention being drawn to it. Us being in that ring, bossing up with each other is enough. So let's just do the damn thing, man. I'm excited about this fight. I'm excited about this fight. So I've been saying it for years now, man. Not years, but I want to say about a year or so since they started entertaining this fight. I got Naoya Inoue winning this fight. I do, man. When I looked at how Sebastian was able to, bully Junto, around the ring for the majority of the fight. Not to the point where he lost, because I don't think he lost. But that level of pressure he was putting on him and was forcing him off. Or not just, it's a difference between fighting off of your back foot and fighting uncomfortably off of your back foot. You dig? When you can't counter as effectively, when you can't let go of shots in the manner that you would normally do because you're trying to protect yourself and you're trying to pick your shots as opposed to just being instinctive and letting the shot go. That's what he was doing to Junto, but Junto was still active enough and he won enough early rounds to where I feel like he won that fight. But I'm looking at him, the pressure that he was applying from him, and I'm just like, how do you deal with that type of pressure in front of Naoya Inoue? Now, is Naoya Inoue a pressure fighter like Sebastian is? No, he's not. He's more the boxer puncher. He's more to get in, get out. He's more to get in, minute he has you hurt, he is on you, and he is an elite finisher. He's an elite finisher. But one thing I have noticed is Naoya Inoue has been getting clipped. At this weight, you know, it hasn't been the last couple of fights because I really think he's been really working on his defense. But he's there to be hit. He's definitely, you know, he's there to be hit. And the thing is, the beauty of it with Junto Nakatani is he's about the same height as Picasso. He's about the same height as Picasso, and I think he's better than Picasso. And Junto, his limbs are longer. Like when I look at Junto, Junto reminds me of like Alberto Puello and Andy Hirioka at 140. You know, they're just, these dudes have really long arms. And so for them to, turn the shot over and bring the shot home and get the shot delivered to where it needs to be, it's like they opened up a lot, a little bit wider on the shots. That shit is just always, I've noticed that about them, man. It takes them a little bit longer. It takes them a little bit more, they're a little bit more rangy with the shots, even at close quarters, man. And I think on that predication alone, Inoue is going to come out victorious because I just think he's too sharp of a puncher. And Junto's not no sloppy puncher or nothing like that, but I just think his long limbs are going to work to his disadvantage unless he's able to dictate the range. Unless he's able to dictate the range and really work behind his, jab and force Inoue to open up, because that's when he's most vulnerable. That's when he's most vulnerable. I don't even know how you do it. I don't know how he could do it. Because Inoue is vulnerable in combinations. When he's letting go of punches, he's vulnerable, man. His backhand he just compromises his backhand because he's so much faster and so much sharper and more athletic than these fighters. He can get away with doing it. All fighters make mistakes, but the greats are able to get away with it because of how great they are. How great they are, whether it's just the blazing hand speed or whether it's just the sharp astute punches. They're able to get away with it because they're just so great at what it is that they do. Inoue is just he's such a big puncher, and he's fast, and he's in and out with his footwork. You have to have a certain level of composure to be able to stand there and counter him in the midst of him throwing a combination. And those are the two times that he's been dropped, because in those moments he compromises his guard. And it can help Junto with the fact that he's so much longer and rangier than Inoue. He can catch him coming in, catch him in the middle of a combination, cover up, step back, boom, put a hook right down the middle on his chin strap. You know what I'm saying? And down him. And of course, it's been the left hook that's sent Inoue down. It's been two left hooks. Junto is, a southpaw, man. So I don't know how he can make that work with, out of the southpaw advantage. I mean, I don't know. But I think he can, I'm not thinking Junto's gonna go in here and get blasted out or nothing like that. I don't think he's about to just get, overly dominated. But I do think Naoya Inoue is gonna win convincingly, like 8-3, 8-4. 9-3 potentially. 8-4, 9-3 or whatever, man. And I do think Junto is going to survive to the 12th round. But I do think he's gonna get dribbled off the canvas a couple of times. That's just me. But I think Junto is in this fight. I think Junto is game, man. I think Junto has really good movement. And I think he, it's weird how because he's long and just how low he gets up under shots, and it doesn't compromise his legs. He gets low up. He doesn't mean he get low. You dig on some yin yang twin shit. You dig from the window to the wall. He gets low, and he's able to evade those hooks. That's wild considering how tall this motherfucker is for the division. Goddamn. But I do got Inoue winning this fight. I think I think Junto. I think his range is going to, and just how open he is with his punches. I think that's going to be the determining factor going into this fight. But I do think he's going to have success with that as well, because I think he is going to find a home for those combinations. I think it's going to take Inoue a little bit to adjust to his range, and with him trying to find, take chances and find a way to close distance. That takes, going on the offensive and putting forth an attack for you to do that. So he's gonna try for punches out of range to take chances, and that's gonna be the moment where Junto begins to clip greater distance to cover between between the two of them. And it's gonna take him a minute to adjust to those, to that range. And when he does, it's gonna be downhill from there. It'll be competitive when Inoue starts to find his range and starts to get into a rhythm. So it's still gonna be competitive, but by the time the mid-late rounds come around, like my man Julius, Ring IQ, shout out Julius. By the time the third quarter come around of the fight, yeah, I think it's gonna be Monster from there on out. So I'm going with Monster, and I do think Inoue is gonna dribble him off the canvas a couple of times, and I think he is going to win 8 rounds to 4. And we ain't even gotta include the knockdowns. Maybe 9-3. So that's how I'm feeling about it, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on all my predictions, but that's the beauty of the sport. You dribble, you shoot. And, if you're wrong, you come back here, you eat your crow. Y'all was right on that one. But if you are right, man, the ends justify the means. So I'm pulling into work. I'm ready to get this day over with so I can get the fuck home. I'll tap back in with y'all tomorrow after the fights, man. Y'all be easy. Deuces.